Well, the IEC has acknowledged the proclamation of the 2021 local government elections by Cooperative Governance Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, but it has filed an application at the Constitutional Court for the postponement of the elections set for the 27th of October. Now, by declaring the election date, Dlamini-Zuma has effectively closed off the voters' roll, meaning no new voters may be admitted for the proclaimed date. Political analyst Levy Ndou joins me now live to discuss this. So, Levy, of course, this was a lot of back and forth because of the technicalities of something like this happening. Government, of course, had to proclaim the date. The IEC had to come out today and say they're ready to go ahead, but they are filing papers to the Constitutional Court. All processes followed. I mean, what does this mean for our democracy, though?
Shahan, good evening to you. Good evening to the viewers at home. I think it's important to note, firstly, that the IEC is an institution that is created to support our democracy in South Africa. And they also need to ensure that they work very independently, but also at the same time, they need to deliver on their constitutional obligation, meaning that as an institution that is created to strengthen our democracy, the IEC must ensure that it conducts its work as expected by everyone and also following the legal processes. Now, we have got a very difficult situation. The situation we have now is that we have got COVID-19 and the IEC has actually extended its hand to all South Africans, political parties, and use the services of DCJ Moseneke in order to make a determination whether we can still be able to have free and fair elections under the current situation of the pandemic. But that would require now, given the limited time frames, that will require some legality in terms of whether the IEC has to postpone the elections or not. Well, indeed, it might be seen to be a bit frustrating when you have the minister having made the proclamation. But what the minister has to do is also to fulfill her own political and legal obligations as the minister to make a proclamation. In any way, because of the current situation, we are in a very, very tricky situation. That is why the IEC has to say, let's look at the legal opinion so that whatever the IEC has to come up with should actually follow the legal framework.
And the IEC, of course, has an obligation to ensure that elections are free and fair. There are some political parties arguing that the IEC is pushing agendas of other parties. But from what you've seen and what we've seen unfold, especially in terms of the Moseneke report, what are your views on that?
Shahan, everybody was given, or stakeholders were given, opportunities to make presentations to Moseneke. But obviously it will actually depend on where one stands. For an example, those that are saying that we should postpone elections are looking at the issue of COVID-19, but also at the same time, they are looking at other dynamics that are involved or components involved in the electioneering period, that is campaigning. But also on the other hand, you have got those that are saying, we need to go on with our elections. There are different ways and means of ensuring that the campaigning part can still continue. In any way, we've actually been in constant contact with members of our own parties and also extending beyond members of our party and ordinary supporters. Then the life of a politician has actually not stopped. Now, based on those two different views, you also need to look at the position of the IEC that is saying COVID-19 is not a joke, it kills people, but also at the same time we need to deliver on the constitutional responsibility. Maybe the best way will be to get the legal opinion. And for me, I think the IEC has actually taken the right step so that the IEC should not be seen as a party that might be extending the term of office of some politicians, the IEC must deliver on its obligation, but also at the same time ensuring that whatever decision that they take should actually encompass everyone, but in the main, the law should be at the core of the work of the IEC.
All right, thank you so much for your insight. Appreciate it. Political analyst Levy Ndou. Now, Connie